Hello and welcome everybody to the TRACKILICIOUS Thursday Mixed Class League here at Oulton Park. It is going to be an absolute thriller today. We are in M2s, excuse me, not a mixed class. I completely have forgotten. So used to that, but no, not this time around. You can see we are here at the lovely Oulton Park, a 2.6 mile track located in Cheshire, England. One of my actual favorites to drive on. Some drivers are a little bit more opposed to it. 17 corners, 6 to the left and 11 to the right. It's a very challenging track with 43 meters of elevation. But nonetheless, these drivers are going to have to traverse that here tonight, and they are really in for a bit of a challenge. There's no doubt about that. But nonetheless, I think the caliber of the drivers out on track tonight, some of them, well, all of them, I think, no doubt, will be able to do that. We had a lovely race last week where, of course, I think it was Ollie Raza that ended up taking the win, of course, over at Kyalami. So that was quite fun. Ollie Raza is obviously one of the more talented drivers. As Doc Milwee says, I gotta watch a race here. A mixed class, or excuse me, reverse grid. M2 reverse grid. Did I even say that at the beginning here? We're watching reverse grid here. I'm not used to, this is new to me too, everybody. If this is new to you, this is new to me. Of course, a format that you can't really do too often. But nonetheless, due to our amazing admins here at TRACKILICIOUS, Professor Chronotis in particular, we have the ability to do that tonight. We're going to have one race that is not going to be reversed, so they will be out in qualifying like they are currently, setting their times. And then after that, we will move to a 20-minute sprint race with the P1 taking P1. After that, we will have no qualifying, and then there will be another 20-minute sprint race where P1 will be starting in P last. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. That's going to be extremely thrilling to watch. A lot of challenges ahead for the drivers tonight from both the lower pack as well as the upper pack. They have their work cut out for them as well. A lot on the shoulders here, especially at Oulton Park, a very tough track to overtake. Very tight. Grass, if you end up on it, can end up into the barrier very, very quickly. We are, though, going to dive here into game. Let's head on into it. Here we can see hopping on board with the driver here of Jacob Cunningham. Current times that we're looking at, 1:48.0 at pole position. Jacob Cunningham about 1.3 seconds off the pace there, moving now towards about 6 minutes into qualifying. So 15 minutes out there for these drivers, all of them out there at once. You can see it. Struggling to negotiate that chicane is Jacob Cunningham. These M2s naturally a very understeery car due to the fact that they're basically a souped-up road car. They have maybe a bit of an upgraded suspension package as well as maybe a little bit more horsepower. But nonetheless, they are pretty much a bare stock M2 that you can buy out on the road. Therefore, we're looking at a good amount of horsepower, 456 or somewhere around that number, if I remember right. In this flat 6 engine, of course, a very, very awesome engine. It sounds very nice. In fact, the game a little bit quiet maybe. Why don't we get a little bit more engine sound there? We can hear these flat 6s, not quite roaring, but rumbling their way around this 2.6 mile track here. Now, to the line, Jacob Cunningham. It looks like it isn't going to be an improvement. If you do want to follow along with all of the live timings, of course, !pitwall. I need to turn that down so much. !pitwall. You can find the link to our pitwall, or it is as well streamed up at the, or pinned at the top of the stream. One Bigly gifting another gift sub, 62 gift subs. Oh my goodness, One Bigly. Thank you so much for your continued support. I cannot thank you enough, genuinely. As well, hope you enjoy your emotes there, AT Rogers, as there are some good emotes. We're looking to improve that here soon as well, so keep an eye out in the emote section, as there may be some changes coming up in these next few streams. Ollie Raza has improved his pole time there. And Jason Provo, my goodness, Steven Tomazic gifting a sub as well. How do I turn that down? I literally have no idea. I genuinely don't know. But nonetheless, it's very noisy. But thank you guys very much. I will find a way to turn that down, though. Maybe live, maybe not. regardless, we will watch here Ollie Raza lapping this track in the meantime while I find that, at least attempt to have a brief look. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I think I may have found something. It will be good enough for now. I think I have changed that a little bit here, but it is going to be a temper. And regardless, thank you guys very much for your support. And both Ollie Raza and Dan Brace here. Dan Brace, potentially a pole position contender, but not with this lap, as it is invalid. Track limits getting the best of them here. The very understeery car, obviously, is going to trend the way of going off towards the grass, which if you go, obviously, both tires off the white lines, you will be no longer able to complete that lap with a valid time on the board. Provolone, though, everybody's fan favorite, currently in P2. Looking to put on a good result here. We do have a couple drivers that will be maybe sandbagging. You never know. We'll see later on, of course, as the drivers that start in P last will be starting in P1 for the second race. So it could very well be some quicker drivers, maybe saving it for the later race, but that could be risky. Maybe go for it into the middle, puts you into the middle for both races. Could pay off. That could end up in massive disaster. It's going to be big decision making here for these drivers, but as well, you just have drivers like Jason Provolone. They're just going to try to throw their best lap on the board regardless of the situation and strategy, and I say good on that. Dan Brace currently getting very, very oversteer. You can see having a big correction through the Shell Oil corner there. And into Britain's we go. Big curb usage, as you can get away with that in the M2, but you can't get away with that amount of speed into the chicane. That will be another invalid lap. Dan Brace here needs to put one together if he wants to get a good time on the board here. He already has a 150.0, but we're looking at 149.0 at pole position, and I know Dan Brace has that in him. And the key to a reverse grid race is to qualify in the middle, says Steven. That seems smart, I will say. I mean, it gives you the best practice all around, but also, you know, sets you up for a midfield finish both times around. Well, potentially you could go for broke, sandbag the first one, start in the second, you know, who knows. We'll see, we'll see. Will be very interesting nonetheless. One other thing that I want to say a big thank you to as well is our patrons that we have over on Patreon. We can get an exclamation mark Patreon, P-A-T-R-E-O-N if you are interested. But currently our members that we have following us on Patreon are going to be Jason Provolone in chat, who is throwing the stinky cheese. You can see there, as well as all of the other names on screen and the supporters. Thank you guys so much for your continued support throughout all of these months, as well as some of you guys' years. So thank you so much. And yep, just a big, once again, leave that up there just for a minute so everyone get a glimpse. But yes, thank you guys. And if you guys do want your name on this board, of course, follow that link that Nightbot has posted, exclamation mark Patreon, or in the description. You can find a link there, and your name will be up there with the rest. And we will love you as well as much as the rest. Thank you very much to everyone, though, just for being here. Of course, dropping follows as well as gift subs. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Appreciate all you guys. We come down to the end here of qualifying, at least coming down to the closing lap here. The drivers getting ready to start their penultimate lap for some. Jacob Cunningham, this may be his final. We'll see. Is he going to put it all on the table here? We're going to hop on board, heading into the first corner. Quick right-hander where you're going to want to get onto the brakes around that fencing board off to the left. Now, a quick right-hander that approaches. You can see a big lift off of the throttle. A little bit of hesitation there from Jacob Cunningham. And actually, as a result, he is invalidated. I'm not sure how he managed that, actually. I didn't quite catch an invalidation. It looked good to me, but fair enough. The stewards say otherwise, and that is going to be the end of the session. He actually had enough time to complete another lap if he wanted. Casey Schutte has jumped up to P2, though. Nice standing result. Looks like it is going to stay that way for now, assuming Dan Brace doesn't have anything to say about that. It's about 3/10 is the gap there between Casey and Dan Brace. Dan is improving on his lap. What can he manage in the Ironman M2? Coming up to a easy to invalidate corner here. The shell oil, of course, the lead up to it, that very understeery left-hander where you lift off the throttle just ever so slightly. Now down to third gear, way deep into the corner. You can see that is definitely not the optimal line. Dan Brace losing about 3/10 as a result. It was looking good. Now into Britain's, braking around the little gravel splotch in the grass, hits the curb very hard and gets a big snap of oversteer mid-corner. Is still even with the delta somehow. Hasn't been the greatest qualifying for Dan Brace, that's for sure, as the track is fully rubbered in at this point, and he should be improving, and that is definitely not where Dan wants to be. He's going to keep with it, and it looks like he has lost all will there at this point, and that is going to be that. You can see the faith draining from him as every mess up he made, he got more and more upset, but that is how it goes sometimes. These M2s are a tricky beast. Casey Jackman to the line here is going to be improving. How much, though? Currently sitting in P9 to the line. It's going to be one position improvement over Darren Thomas. Very respectable. And a whopping 10,000, what is that? 10/100th? No, a 1,000th of a second. 100th, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. 100th of a second between Casey as well as Darren Thomas. And John Hawley sitting 15 thousandths away as well. It was 10,000th, I was right. Regardless of that. Mike Burkhoff at the line, no improvement. Will be P12. Be a good start position for him in the M2 race. In the second reverse grid, obviously. These are both M2 races. Will Brunner will be the last driver here in the SimCast M2. All the pressure is going to be on. He's looking to set a pretty decent lap as well. He only needs to improve about a 10th to gain that position over Mike Burkhoff, which will dethrone him one for one race, but also improve him one for the next. So it is a bit of a bittersweet feeling getting passed by somebody in the lap boards. Let's see, though. A little deep there into the penultimate corner we go. Now through the final little dip into the... across the line we go. P13 all the way here. It's going to be P7. Nice little 6th position improvement there for Will Brunner. The number 98 car should be fairly happy with that. A nice mid-pack start. We'll be starting about dead center of the pack both time around. As we have it, though, it's going to be a little bit of a calm here. Of course, we have our formation grid here along with the outlap, 2.6 mile outlap, so it should be a fairly quick one. Though with 17 corners to navigate, it can be a little bit sometimes. Of course, you can see that long straight back heading towards the shell oil corner on the right-hand side there. That's where these drivers are going to have a good overtaking opportunity as well as into the first corner if they are bold enough. Going to need to get their elbows out for sure, though. For now, though, starting here in P1, we have our, well, obviously M2 driver. They're all M2 drivers. It is, though, going to be Ollie Raza in the number 30 Raza Motorsports BMW M2. Next to him on the front row as well, Casey Schutte in the tin can, back again, BMW. I'm going to quit saying that because it's going to get old quick. Provolone. Jason Provolone, of course. It ain't easy being cheesy. No, it most certainly is not in P3. Getting a nice little podium there, at least penultimate or preliminary podium, regardless of the word. We're moving on from that. Dan Brace in P4 with Jacob Cunningham close behind in 5th. And Professor Chronotis going to be rounding out row 3. Will Brunner will be 7th fastest next to John Hawley in the Jif Peanut Butter Racing, or Peanut Bimmer Racing, excuse me. The 410 there with a nice tribute livery to the Jif company. Casey Jackman will be 9th fastest in the 808 AOA Racing BMW there. Lovely crash test stickers on the side as well as the lovely, what is that, Spitfire paint, I suppose? John Hawley, as well in the GIF Peanut Bimmer Racing. Lovely livery. Next to the Simcast here of Will Brunner in P7. John Hawley will be 8th. Oh, wait, have I just jumped back and forth? I misclicked. Excuse me. Casey Jackman in P9 here, along with Darren Thomas in P10. Alex Afonso here in P11, the number 999, with Potts Weaver in 12th. Mike Burkov, the number 74, in P13, with Reggie King close behind in the 14th. And last but not least, but as well, will be first in the next race. It's going to be Jacob Church in the one bigly BMW M2. The 253 car here, going to be eager for the second race. We'll see how he gets on in the first. Ollie, though, going to be looking forward to both, I presume, and working his way back up the field. Also, AV6 Scott, welcome. I know I saw that earlier, but welcome. And one bigly in chat as well. Good luck to you, sir. As we get ready, Ollie Raza, car is nice and warm, and we will begin our 2.6 mile outlap here at Oulton Park before we have the green flags flying here and the race can get underway. For now, though, we are underway. Ollie Raza, like I say, eager. I think is going to be the word here. A man of very few words. Casey Schutte going to be looking to maybe make a move on to Ollie Raza. We'll see if he can do that into the first corner and maybe hold it for a few laps. I do presume that Ollie, though, no offense here to Casey, of course, but Ollie Raza just very, very quick. I do think we will see Casey sticking with him for a good bit and trying to use him for a bit of an advantage. Cody Blanton there throwing some energy the way of Casey, and he is going to need it. That is for sure, because he has a big task ahead of him trying to overtake the likes of Ollie Raza, as well as keep Jason Provolone behind. Jason is going to be biting at his heels if he is not careful, but Dan Brace, a little bit out of position in P4. Maybe isn't quite as attuned to that BMW as he is in the GT3 and GT4 cars, I will say. Maybe not quite getting the setup feel or getting the grip that you see these other drivers getting. I know the M2 is a very understeery car, but Dan Brace seems to be particularly so. Still relatively quick regarding those issues, though. Hey, Eric, it doesn't work like that. Eric giving energy to Casey, not to Casey, giving energy to Cody, which in turn I'm going to give it to Casey. He's going to need it, so we're going to give that energy straight to Casey Schutte in the tin can back again here. Already the tires are getting taken out. That's a very, very common sight here, of course. They are actually just kind of in the way of the apex. But you can see the really careful design that Casey Schutte had with this livery. Truly putting the effort and the detail in and really making a stunning one here tonight. He is going to be ready to go, though, or at least getting ready to go. The driver is going to be forming up. You can see the Campbells, you can see the Jiff, you can see the Puma, and the one bigly bringing up the rear as well. All forming up 2x2 Noah's Ark formation here as we get ready to round the penultimate corner, which is basically the final corner. And we will go green at the line as we come down towards Deer Leap. Very original corner name, I will say, not even being sarcastic, as we go to the line. Casey Schutte trailing Ollie Raza here. I'm Mike Nause in the booth as we get ready to go green here at Oulton Park. And we are green, 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 heading now to the first corner. Ollie Raza with a smashing start as well. We have Jason Provolone biting up behind of Dan Brace, who managed to get a stellar start and actually get ahead of Provolone at the beginning. Nice job there from Dan Brace. Jason Provolone must have been slow off the line. I didn't quite catch that. We see scrapping there from Professor Chronotis as well as Jacob Cunningham as we go side by side into the left-hander, heading on towards the straight now. Everybody nip and tuck. Coming on down now towards Lakeside, of course. Lakeside. Hard to see. You can follow here with Jacob Cunningham and get the first This is going to be one of the best overtaking opportunities, especially here on the first lap. It's going to be the outside of the line, trying to carry that speed onto the back straight here, but it's going to be a short straight heading towards the chicane. A little bit of elbows out there from Chronotis. Fair play, though. It is his apex. Jason Provolone pushing there through the chicane nicely with Dan Brace ahead, trailing Casey Schutte by about 0.3 of a second. Casey, as I predicted, is about 1 second behind here at the beginning, trying to keep up with Ollie Raza. Oh, but Casey is off. He's made an error here on the first lap. That is going to give the position immediately to Dan Brace as Casey rejoins side by side with Jason Provolone, and Jason Provolone is going to secure that position. Chronotis, though, eking up into the back here. The cameraman getting obscured by the trees. Hard to see all of this action here. You can see, of course, we are just basically in a forest in the middle of Cheshire, England, is where this track is. But a nice first lap nonetheless. We are fully green, and clean. There's something there. Green and clean. There's something there. It might already be trademarked, to be completely honest. Irrelevant to that. Cody as well, giving energy to Eric. It doesn't work like this. Casey is going to be receiving that motivation again, just from the trickle-down effect. And he, like I said before, is really going to need it after that error he made on lap 1. Heading low onto lap 2, he's looking very strong with Chronotis, though, biting at his heels. You never know what can happen here. Can hop on board. This is a very tricky corner where I've seen Chronotis here even go off in the past. You can see him understeering, and he almost goes off there. Oh my goodness, I almost thought a commentator cursed him into oblivion. Provolone is deep, though, into the Shell Oil hairpin. Coming on to the back straight now towards Britain's. Not a great run there from Chronotis. Getting on the brake at the gravel patch. A little bit deep there, but keeps it fully under control. Great control from Chronotis, as he is going to look at the overtake at least. Heading into the back chicane. Backs out of it. Very bold move to go for that. And AV6 Scott giving energy to me. I don't know if that works either. That will go to, all of the drivers. We'll distribute it evenly. There we go. No biases here, obviously. Darren Thomas under massive threat here as he is chasing down Casey Jackman, but Casey seems to be pulling on him a little bit. The Warm Soup Midnight Special under pressure from Potts Autosports here of Potts Weaver. Potts as well needs to be awfully cautious of Mike Burkov, who is no slouch at overtaking and a very opportunistic as well as a very safe overtaker. Heading in towards the penultimate corner now as we head down towards Deer Leap. You can see the opportunistic move as well as the safety there, giving the perfect amount of space to Potts, but stealing it from him and trying to go for Darren Thomas at the same time. Heading into the first corner, it's going to be the inside line for Mike Burkov. This should be fully sent and done, but no, Darren Thomas defends it nicely. Out of shape there goes Alex Afonso momentarily. You can see 2x2 heading down the right-hander onto the left now through Cascade into Lakeside. Potts Weaver with a yellow flag. I'm not sure what has happened there, and that's a big hit from the barrier as well. We're going to keep up with this action, though, from Mike Burkov, as he almost has a bit of a yellow flag himself, but nope, not quite. Judging the M2 length to perfection there. Keeping his nose out of the back there of Darren Thomas. He sticks with him tightly through the chicane. Now, going to be looking at him into the back chicane. There's a lot of chicanes on this track. I need to be more specific, probably. A little bit deep there in through how I think you say is Knickerbrook. We'll just leave it at that. Knickerbrook, a very interesting corner name. Nonetheless, up Clay Hill towards the water tower into Druid's Corner. Druid's a tricky one, especially in the M2. You can see the gravel there getting kicked up as a result. That's going to be Casey Jackman, I think, having a bit of a stir up there. Darren Thomas has fallen under threat at the end of the lap here. Mike Burkov, though, runs wide into the final corner. Is that going to allow him to carry speed? Potentially. I think not, though. Definitely scrubbed off a bit more than he can carry into the first corner. No overtake attempt for him. Not just yet. Up ahead, Casey Jackman has reeled in John Hawley. It's Casey here, an avid tuna fisherman. Little did John know his favorite snacks out on the boat are in fact peanut butter jelly and sandwiches. So as he's been reeling him in, he's going to try to have a bite here into the Shell Oil corner. No luck just yet, though. Heading towards the Britons, it's going to be a bit of a deep run from John Hawley. That should scrub off a bit of speed there and allow Casey to close up as they head into the chicane. Got to be very cautious not to run deep, which Casey actually does. You can see him having to get the brakes onto that car a little bit more. He will have to wait and try to make that overtake attempt a little bit sooner. I'm sure, though, the delicious snacks will come soon enough, as behind them, Mike Burkov is pressuring Darren Thomas to the defensive line. Darren Thomas off the grass there. Will be a little bit of an on-the-grass defense. He is going to keep it under control, though. Nicely done so far, Mike Burkov. What does he have in store as we head up the hill towards Druids? Nothing just yet, nor for Casey. Up at the front, by the way, has calmed down for the top three positions. Ollie Raza securely in P1 by 3 seconds, Dan Brace securely in P2 by 3 seconds, and Jason Provolone not so securely in P3, but about 1.3 seconds, give or take, to Casey Schutte. Casey as well trying to defend a little bit from Jacob Cunningham. Well, not defend, but pull away from Jacob Cunningham. And he's doing a decent job of that so far. The scrapping here between Darren Thomas as well as Casey Jackman has turned this into, from two-way battles into a four-way battle. And approaching behind, you can also see Alex Afonso as well as Reggie King. This could turn into a six-way battle very quickly if these drivers are not careful enough with their choice of car placement. They need to get the move on here. Mike Burkov trying to do exactly that. He can see what's about to happen if he doesn't get going. Nemesis, how's it going? How's it going? We have some incredible M2 action here tonight, and it is going to only get better as the next race ahead of us. We have two 20-minute sprints. This is the first one, and the race ahead will be a reverse grid where the last position will start in first. And that's right, I forgot to say, though, the positions of this race determine the positions of the sprint, not the qualifying. I mistaked that earlier. I forgot about that. So the race positions at the end here determine the starting positions. Side by side now into the penultimate corner we go. Mike Burkov has the inside line. I think he has the overtake as well. Darren Thomas not with an answer as they head down Deer Leap up to the start-finish line. Mike Burkov is going to cover the inside very lightly there. Darren Thomas with a good run, but not going to be good enough. Darren sticking with the bumper there of Mike Burkov. He needs to be very careful, as well as Alex Afonso, who's going to be going for a look into the quick right-hander. There might be a little bit of contact. I think the drivers managed to avoid so. Now, through Cascades, very tight racing here between the two as Alex Afonso immediately going to go back on the charge. Portuguese driver not wasting any time here. Onto the gravel goes Darren Thomas. That's going to be some marbles picked up. We're halfway through this race now, so Alex Afonso definitely trying to get a hurry up here. Has a few more positions that he knows he can make up. Heading now into the back chicane. He is running out of chances. We'll take a look up ahead. Jacob Cunningham has caught Professor Cronotis. Cronotis has fallen off the back bumper of Casey Schutte by quite a margin, in fact. See if he can make anything happen here. Nemesis Whip says ACC2 will be out in 2024, but spring 2024, and maybe 2025 for console. Interesting. That should be awesome. I can't wait for another ACC. This game has, if they can improve this game, that is a true testament of technology, because this game is genuinely a testament to technology in itself. One of the best sims out there, no doubt. In terms of graphics and visuals, definitely one of the best out there. Undeniably so. Hopefully, it can run properly, as games, it seems, of this year have had that issue. But nonetheless, side by side we go. And Professor Chronotis gets out of shape and actually is going to clatter into the side panel there of Jacob Cunningham. That was a big mistake there from Chronotis. Let's take a look at that. As a result, they both are going to get swamped with positions. So it all started there in the first corner. You can see Chronotis dip a tire into the grass. Now heading into the quick right-hander. Chronotis is way offline and deep, and unfortunately is not able to grip up there mid-apex. Does end up going into the side. And very unfortunate outcome. In fact, the worst possible outcome. Luckily, no other drivers getting involved. Chronotis immediately rejoins and is on the hunt here to Casey Jackman, though. Trying to make that ground back up. John Hawley has Casey behind him. He hasn't had anyone behind him in a while, to be honest, so this could be a little bit of a change in pressure. Now, change in pressure, could that make him pop like a balloon? Or will that make him nice and firm? Let's find out, as Casey Schutte has had a chink in his tin armor. Let's see what's happened. Now, this is going to be one of the more common mistakes I think we're going to see tonight, and I'm very surprised. It's the first time we've seen it. Just a lot of understeer there into Druids, taking too much speed, and going off at actually a part of the track that you don't see too often. But that quarter in particular is a real challenge with the offset camber as well as the elevation change. A little dip there mid-apex can really throw you for a loop if you're not ready for it, which, you know, these drivers just... the slightest bit of complacency, and that will end you up into the barrier. John Hawley, I think, was having a bout with Casey. Hasn't managed it yet. Or no, John Hawley was ahead at the beginning, I think, of the initial engagement here. Mike Burkov, though, I know he was behind of Professor Chronotis, is so currently has a great view there of the Campbell's soup. Very tasty, tempting to stay there for a long period of time, but no. As you can see, Mike Burkov, a bit of a seesaw. Ooh, big seesaw. Is going to lose some ground there onto Chronotis. Chronotis keeps it under control for now. Any one of these drivers could make a mistake at any point in time, and as I say that, we see it. Chronotis makes a mistake. That puts him off the back bumper there of John Hawley. Even more so, Mike Burkov makes another mistake. Oh, and my goodness, Alex Afonso makes a big mistake. A huge, terrible error. Let's see what happened here. Following into the back chicane. Onto the grass. Nice little bit of throttle. We're under control for now. Wow, the car jumped. And too much throttle on the outside there will result in a bit of a clouding of the barrier. You hate to see it. It was a very surprising bounce, I will say. These M2s, though, with a bit more of a lively suspension than a GT3. So, not surprising. It's a four-way battle here as we head on to what is more than likely going to be the third to last lap. Very close margins for the drivers, and a nice little send there from Casey. An optimistic look, but keeping Will Brunner honest as he went a bit deep into the Shell Oil hairpin there. And Casey trying to just see what happens if he sticks a nose in. Wasn't able to make anything happen. Needs to be very careful, though. If he keeps that up, John Hawley will claim victim to him if he gets too poor of an exit. Nicely done for all the drivers negotiating that chicane. It's tricky enough to negotiate that chicane on a valid lap. Nevertheless, when you have a car attacking you and you are pressuring the car yourself. Alternate line being chosen there from Casey. Nothing being had of it, though. John Hawley all over the back there. That was a pretty poor exit from Casey, but John Hawley not able to make a move into that penultimate corner down towards Deer Leap to make it the final. That is going to be Mike Burkov, I think, off the track. Very deep. Bit of work to do to stick with it. Now is Darren Thomas breathing down his neck, in fact, as well. Oh, Darren Thomas, actually, is he going to be making a move here onto Mike Burkov? No, he got out of shape. Look at that. 4 cars all shooting out into the straight there at the same exact time. Lovely, lovely stuff here. Into the hairpin once again. No driver able to make an overtake happen just yet in that corner that I've seen. You need to be so elbows out. It's all about the run into the chicane. If you get onto the outside, the marbles are very strong, but if you can get that inside line, it is very, very... I mean, it's on. The overtake is on. John Hawley, he's on for an overtake as well. Heading now towards Casey. Outside line is going to be chosen. This is going to be a really tough one. Late on the brakes, John Hawley is going to have to go. He actually backs out of it before they reach the midst of the chicane. I do not blame him, but Kronotis is now breathing down his neck. And says, I want to join this party as well. I'd like a scoop of that peanut butter. Professor Kronotis, though. Let's see. Is he allergic to peanuts? You never know. Darren Thomas behind, side by side with Mike Burkov. Mike Burkov a bit off the pace here. Maybe those spins have cost him some grip in that tire. Of course, the tire already not the grippiest. A little bit deep there goes the GIF, and Professor Kronotis onto the inside. He will have the inside line for the first corner, but he's going to get a bit of a poorer run here. Sticks with it, though, and that's what he needs to do. Late on the brakes. Is it going to be enough? Professor Kronotis is a little bit deep. John Hawley with a switcheroo takes the inside line for the first part of the corner, but it will quickly turn to the outside. John Hawley, though, should have a better exit if he stays ahead. Let's find out. Oh, Kronotis is deep. He ends up clattering the curb. Not again. I think that's the second time John Hawley and Kronotis have had it coming together in the midst of that corner. 2 separate occasions, 2 separate reasons. Let's look at that one again here. From the helicam. Actually, a bit of a different one. John Hawley may have turned in there. I'm not sure. Tough to see from that angle. Definitely will be on to the stewards for a later inquiry.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all you can.
Potts Weaver. Final lap to go. This won't be, actually this will be his final lap, excuse me. Is he going to make the overtake? Potts Weaver. Inside line had here. This should be good. As he has it. Nice and late, nice and tidy. And is going to stay ahead. Or get ahead, excuse me. Ollie Raza creeping to the line.
The leader has finished the race.
With a little bit of a flex. To allow Dan Brace to just get a mere hope. Maybe even ran out of fuel. I don't think so, though, as he gave a good squirt of the throttle. Ollie Raza showboating, you may say. We'll see. Dan Brace, though, with a lovely P2 result. Jason Provolone in 3rd. Casey Schutte in 4th, with Will Brunner going to be creeping up for 5th position here as he comes out of Deer Leap, with Casey Jackman behind in 6th Professor Canota 7th, Mike Burkov in 8th, John Hawley in 9th, and Darren Thomas bringing out our top 10. Don't go anywhere, of course, anyone. This is going to be the race 1 of 2 tonight. Next race will be a reverse grid. We're going to be jumping right into it. Might be a little bit of a lull, but we'll see. I think a small free practice session. We'll head back into the booth. But nonetheless, after that, of course, we will be heading on to our reverse grid where we will see Ollie Raza, Dan Brace, and Jason Provolone all starting in the back. Definitely exciting prospects in this coming up future. Provolone with a P3 podium result there, Provolone. Great job. Going to be a bit of a challenge in the next one, though. This car is a lot of fun at Oulton. I love to hear that. That's so cool. Oulton's such a great track. Such a flowy track. It's not a track that you can drive and, well, you know, drive off reactions. You need to put a couple laps in. You need to learn the nitty-gritties of this track if you really want to be quick at it, because it does have some really challenging moments as well as just, I mean, it has a little bit of everything. It has some high-flowing elevation as well as some off-camber corners. Small straight line, not the longest, but it still gives you good overtaking opportunities if you are committed enough, but it is definitely a track not for the faint-hearted. I most certainly need to set up Stream Racer for the next stream. There's no doubt about that. We will be heading back to the booth for right now. And I suppose just talking about the race, as there's quite a bit to talk about there. So welcome back to the booth, everybody. Incredible drive there as we had it. Obviously, Ollie Raza taking the win. No surprise there. But anything could happen in this next race. Of course, it's going to be the reverse grid, where why don't we even take a look here at our calendar. Speaking of that. So, not just do we offer reverse grid, obviously. We have our main event series, which is our GT3 series on Sunday at 8:30 Eastern Time. You can find as well our support series over on SimGrid. All of these are available on SimGrid. We can get the link here in chat. Where you can find our Porsche Cup support series, followed up by our GT3 Championship as well. Coming up November 11th, it's going to be a mixed class endurance race, so make sure you guys are there for that one. 6 hours at Watkins Glen. I am so looking forward to that. I genuinely cannot wait. One big redeem and a hydrate. You want that on camera, I'm assuming, so I'll give it to you. We'll wait for now. GT4 rookies. Going to be as well on Mondays with our Patreon support series. Excellent racing to be had in both of those series we've seen so far. Next race will be at Misano on the 30th. And as well our our mixed class, not mixed class. It used to be mixed class on Thursdays. It's M2 reverse grids now on Thursdays. I got to get used to saying that. Got the muscle memory of the other one. But also, big thank you to our patrons. Can't thank you guys enough for supporting us. Once again, if you guys do want your name over there on the screen, or over here on the screen, you can follow us over on Patreon. You can see the links to, or the names of all of our incredible members. Thank you guys so much for supporting us, as well as all of our Twitch subscribers and server supporters in Discord. Also, big thank you to everyone here just watching, as well as dropping a follow. Wouldn't be here without you guys, obviously. So thank you so much for making what we do feel incredible. Like I say, making us want to improve and strive to bigger and better futures. Jacob Church, I'll give you your hydrate. We have our water bottle, of course. Lovely. As we have 3 minutes heading into the session here. Definitely a bit more time than I wanted. We got free practice drivers taking a little bit of a bathroom break, I would presume, as well as just, you know, getting in that mental headspace, getting ready to start at the back of the grid for some, getting ready to start at the front for some as well. In fact, starting in the front of the grid, as I have a picture on my phone, very professional, it will be potentially, I'm not sure if it will or will not be Jacob Church, but Daniel Solomon, who joined late. I'm not sure if he will be taking the prize there, or if that will put him automatically at the back of the grid due to the fact that he didn't finish enough. I'm not sure how we're going to find out, everybody, how it works. I can assure you that. But nonetheless, Jacob Church will be down there in the at least in the P1 or P2, Alex Afonso in presumably P2, and Potts Weaver in third. So they will be having a bit of a challenge on their hands to keep the likes of Reggie King, Jacob Cunningham, and Darren Thomas behind as well. So big pressure on the shoulders there of one Bigley, who is in chat as well. Like I say, redeeming that hydrate. Thank you for that. As we wait, though, we got 2 more minutes. Man, that's a lot of time. I didn't have Stream Racer ready, unfortunately. There's a chance that it works, but it's also a chance that it's extremely broken. So we're going to go with the chancing on the side of caution. Maybe if a driver wants to head out on track, it can give us something to view. You know what? There is plenty to view. What am I talking about? We're going to head on into the session really quickly, and we're going to take a look at some of these amazing liveries that these drivers have put some incredible amounts of effort into, especially some, like I say, we'll get into it. The server restart? Oh, the server restarted. Yes, Eric. Well, I guess we'll head back to the booth. As we are waiting for the session change. I didn't realize that the session had changed. Oh. Yeah, there we go. We got 6 more minutes of free practice. My goodness. There's even a chance I can get Stream Racer set up in that time, to be completely honest. We're not going to, though. We are going to take a look just, though, at some of these liveries out on track. You know, Eric, I can't say that they have. Probably for, well, good reasons, no offense. But no is the answer to that. I appreciate that, Eric wife, but interesting question, nonetheless. We are going to dive, though, into some of these liveries. And to fill the conversation, how long of a conversation do you think that was going to be, Eric? I think I was going to go and do a deep dive about my lack there of a love life. I'm not sure I was going to... not sure I even needed to go that far, quite frankly. Let's take a look at the GIF livery here. That's GIFing good. Gotta admit, I'm more of a chunky peanut butter man myself. I see we got some creamy peanut butter on the hood of this car, hood, bonnet, whatever you want to call it. Chat, I'm not sure what your guys' opinion are, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong, and chunky peanut butter is most certainly better. As obviously, if I want peanut butter, I want, well, peanuts. Not just the butter of said peanuts. Awesome color combination, though. I do gotta say so. As he comes into the final few corners here. Nice and tidy. John Hawley. He's been really putting in the practice lately, and it's been showing. Dropping really good results. Very, very comfortable behind the wheel of this M2 as well, it looks like. And Jif makes a chunky peanut butter. Oh, Doc, know me. I am well aware that Jif makes a chunky peanut butter, and it is superior to the creamy peanut butter, which John Hawley has put on the bonnet of his car incorrectly. We can have a word with him on a later basis and maybe get that changed, as, you know, it's just, it doesn't quite fit the mood. And Eric, I'm not answering that. Definitely will be interesting to see where John Hawley, he is going to be in 9th position, so almost dead center of the grid. Got a plastic jar on my other computer table. That's awesome. Who doesn't just eat peanut butter straight out of the jar? Even, I know This is a common complaint amongst wives is, you know, the husband may or may not eat the peanut butter out of the jar with a spoon and then re-dip the spoon. I gotta say, I'm mildly guilty. I'm not proud of it. Don't get me wrong, everyone. I'm not proud of it, but I am guilty of re-dipping the spoon into the peanut butter. I don't have a wife to contend with, though. So, you know, it is a deep regret. You know, I just outed myself on stream like that. So did Roofless. Roofless also outed himself on stream. He also eats peanut butter out of a jar like a villain. So, basically, lock him up for life, as well as me. And Jacob Church, crunchy peanut butter and jellies. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. With a banana? Absolutely. We get a large jar of peanut butter so you can dip pretzels into it. See, now that's going a bit far, AV6 Scott. I gotta say, Scott, you don't want to dipping the pretzel, because then you get pretzel juice into pretzel juice. Pretzels don't have juice, but you get what I mean. Pretzel garnishes into the peanut butter, and you know, there's not much wrong with having pretzel juice in your peanut butter. Salt, yeah, but also, you know, the crumbs too. Like, you know, everything's got crumbs. You get the crumbs there in there too, and then they get all, you know. Does it matter? No, probably not. I'm gonna be completely honest, but I gotta be honest, it's probably pretty difficult to dip crunchy peanut butter with a pretzel, though, isn't it? Roofless feels vindicated. Hey man, we're in the same boat together, okay? We can lie in the same coffin, maybe. Are you breaking your pretzels before you... There's no crumbs? I mean... Why was I thinking like a carnival pretzel? Scott, my brain works in strange ways, okay? I wasn't thinking regular pretzels. I'm gonna be, now that it's dawned on me, I've had the realization. No, so hard pretzels. Yeah. That makes sense, and honestly, that's bomb because I love pretzels and peanut butter. But no, that's fair. You do get salt in there though, but yeah, who cares if you get salt in there? Fair enough. I'll have to, that's bomb, man. That is the strategy. But yes, I also, and yes, Steven here eating from a jar of Skippies. I do gotta say, the last jar of peanut butter that I bought also was Skippies. Steven, you also, no offense, don't have a wife to contend with. I'll leave it at that. No further comment required. And no further comment needed, as we are going to be heading into the session now. And as I predicted, Jacob Church will be on pole position, and Daniel Solomon will be in P last due to joining late. And Eric here, he has been on toasted peanut butter. Wait, toasted... Wait, what? Hold on. I can't read this. Oh, toast, butter, and honey. But if you're putting honey on, why do you need the butter? You're just making it unhealthy for no reason, right? Like, isn't honey enough? Whatever. I'm not your mom, so it's not relevant for me. We're going to get into the grid walk. That is relevant. As we have it here. It's a reverse grid. So none of these drivers are going to be starting where they started or finished. It should be fine. Actually, maybe one driver will. Nope, John Hawley's even in 9th. Mike Burkov in 7th. I think he actually stayed. The only driver to do so. No, actually, we have an even number, so it didn't. Irrelevant, once again. Pit wall is going to be connected. If you guys do want to see the live timings, let's get into this rundown here as we have it. Oops. It is going to be starting in P1. Jacob Church in the 1 bigly. Next to him, Alex Andre Afonso, the Portuguese driver in the Intercontinental Racing, number 999. Potts Weaver in P3 in the Potts Autosport, next to Reggie King, who will be in 4th, the 111 Snake Racing. Jacob Cunningham, P5 for the number 27 Magneta Motorsports. as well. Darren Thomas going to be in P6 here, the 613. Thank you for the sub. We'll get that. Thank you, Clutch. We'll get to that. Darren Thomas in P6 here, the 613 Warm Soup Midnight Special next to John Hawley in the Peanut Bimmer Racing, the number 410. Mike Burkov going to be 8th fastest in the 74. The Nepalese driver lined up next to Professor Chronotis here in P9. Rounding out our top 10 is going to be Casey Jackman in the 808 AOA Racing BMW with Will Brunner in P11. Rounding out the 6th row here is going to be Casey Schutte in the Tin Can back again with Jason Provolone breathing down his neck at the start here in P13. Dan Brace, 14th fastest or 14th position after the reverse with Ollie Raza in P15. Last but not least here on the grid, it is going to be Daniel Solomon, the 659 number 16 car. As the cars warm up here and get ready to begin their 2.6 mile outlap, we will thank you very much to Clutch. And who is Clutch Racing again? Who is this guy? I know, right? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Oh man, Clutch, thank you so much. 14 months you subbed for it. Much appreciated. The best mic on the East Coast, of course. That didn't come out right, but East Coast Mike in the house. And here, I'm not sure what you said in your sub message, but shout out as well being given there to Clutch as he does stream over on Twitch and he's been streaming a bit more. Man is recently married. Congratulations to him and good luck to her. But we are now underway here for the 2.6 miles of Race 2, the reverse grid race here at Oulton Park. Jacob Church leading us away and Alex Afonso closely behind. Roofless, it's 2:30 a.m. I can only think about eating peanut butter. Roofless, there's only one solution to that problem, and you know it's the wrong one. But it's the right one. It's the right one. Into the Shell Oil corner they go. About halfway through their outlap. Relatively quick one here, shorter track. Of course, this track founded in 1953 and more or less has honestly been unchanged since 1954. I think the current layout, I actually don't have the current layout that we use in my notes. Amateur streamer here. As I would assume we do not use the same layout from 1954, but my notes say otherwise. Also, Steven, why are you not a mod in chat? Hang on, that needs to change. Oh, your name is not Steven in Twitch, brain, come on. There. Okay, Jacob Church here. Eager to get underway, and also maybe a bit scared, as I would be as well. Jacob Church, maybe not the most familiar with leading a race. Neither, well actually I was going to say neither is Alex Afonso. Alex Afonso actually is familiar with leading races. He just had a bit of an unfortunate one there in the first. Wait, I don't have permissions? It didn't work. Steven will work on this. I can't do it right now for some reason, but Eric, if you can do it, do it. Regardless. Jacob Church is gone. Where's he going? Jacob, come back. I was a fool. You can blame it all on me. Alright, everyone's come back. Jacob has as well. Jacob Church, the 253 car coming up at a deer leap now, heading towards the start-finish line. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Alex Afonso is going to be pressuring him, but actually is way ahead of him, and we're green, and Alex Afonso is obviously ahead. He is way ahead of the green flag. Jacob Church, maybe not too familiar with green flags. We're already 3 wide here at the start. Bit of contact. Darren Thomas does hit the car around. They do manage to get righted. We're going to go 3 by 3 by 3 now, heading to the right-hander. Only chaos can ensue from that position. It looks like 2 drivers have been taken off as a result. 3 now is going to be added to the total. Not the cleanest first lap. But it looks like Ollie Raza has made up some big ground, as well as a few other drivers. Some bumping and banging here on the first lap. Flirty630, welcome, as well as Wet Socks. Got some Provolone support in chat, and he has made some great gains as well, up 6 positions from where he started. Very unfortunate, John Hawley, Darren Thomas, Professor Chronotis. We also have some scrapping here between Ollie Raza and Casey Schutte, but those 3 drivers, I think 4 as well as Daniel Solomon, maybe getting involved there in that incident, potentially. I think Daniel Solomon might be innocent, but I could be wrong. Casey Jackman pressuring Casey Schutte. It's Casey on Casey violence. And who is going to come out on top? Looks like the tin can back again for now. Up ahead, Jacob Church trying to make his way back through the field, and Jason Provolone as well. Right behind him with Jacob Cunningham in front. Mike Burkov in P3. What a gain he's had so far. Up 5 positions from P8 up onto the podium sitting positions already. And Flirty630 with a Prime sub. Thank you so much for using your 1 Prime sub. And we are side by side. We'll get to that a little bit. Oh, there's some contact. That was inevitable. Jason Provolone was hit there, I think, by Jacob Church. I can't see who that actually was. Or Will Brunner. That was, may have been Will Brunner. Man, this is everybody. His elbows out here on lap 1. You can see we got a 5 on a dice there momentarily. Or a die, excuse me, for the more... whatever. And Ollie Raza, 9th position for now, but he is going to be on the charge. Behind them, Will Brunner and Casey Jackman through the left-hander onto the, what is it called? Lakeside. There we go, Cascades. I almost said Croissant. It is definitely not the corner name, and I knew that before even saying it. It does look like a croissant. It does look like a cheeky croissant, though, no? No? Just me? All right, just me. Regardless of that. Jason Provolone. Under pressure. Will Brunner here on the outside of the chicane. It will be a tough one to make that move happen. Isn't for now. Currently leading our race is Andre Alex Afonso, the Portuguese driver who's walked away from it after starting way ahead there of... We saw Jacob Church, like I say, starting at that start, I'm not sure what it was. Jacob Church was very far out of position, and I'm not sure it's just because he hasn't led too many green flags from P1. But definitely out of position from where he could have been, as there was no penalty given to Alex Afonso, and Jacob Church did rightfully have that P1. Side by side, though, we are right now, where he might even go 3 wide. Ollie Raza would be definitely a bit of a mad lad to make that 3 wide. We do see Jacob Church go off there, and he is going to just take to the slip road and escape pathway. I suppose he's blazing his own slip road. And unfortunately, there is going to be dropping positions rapidly. 11 positions he's dropped here on just the first lap alone. Abysmal start would be an understatement for Jacob Church, and I know he's got so much more potential behind the wheel of that one Bigley M2. Four-way scrap here for P6. Currently, Provolone leading that charge. Actually, Casey leading that charge. With Ollie Raza behind. Ollie Raza is going to be looking to make an inside move there, you can see, but Casey actually washed wide, I think on accident, which as a result gave him a defense. Could have been on purpose. It is so easy to carry speed in, too much speed into that corner though, and understeer. Ollie Raza, a patient overtaker, but let's see. Does he get a clean one? Inside, heavily covered there from Casey. He is going to give it, though, it looks like, to Ollie if he wants it. But no, Ollie is not going to be going for it into that chicane. Very bold. Now heading up the hill once again. Running out of opportunities on this lap. Up Clay Hill towards the water tower here. Definitely no opportunity, as this corner is mostly flat out. Quickly adjusting for Druid's corner here. Actually, I'm not sure if it's flat out in these cars. I think there's a lift in these cars. Up ahead, though, there is a podium battle I do want to touch on as well. Potts Weaver, Dan Brace, and Mike Burkov all having a little bit of a bout themselves, with Potts Weaver currently leading that charge in the third position. Excuse me, Jacob Cunningham leading that charge in the second position, but under massive threat here with Potts Weaver breathing down the back there of the diffuser, or M2s. I'm not even sure these things have a diffuser, to be honest. If they do, it's a very small one. We can take a look here at the rear wing. Potts Weaver, you can see he is having a bit of pressure from behind as well. Caught in a sandwich. And a nice view from a little bit of a damaged M2 wing of Jacob Cunningham, actually. Cunningham, though, making it look easy if he is having a damaged car. Potts Weaver, though, may be facing, or rather side by side momentarily, but no. Dan Brace doesn't go for it, thinks wiser, waits for another day. Now, completing the hill up into the Druids corner. Very tricky. Wide goes the M2, obviously. And Dan Brace is going to try to capitalize on the mistake. Potts ran a little bit wide, but no. Dan, okay, this time I take that back. He runs a little bit more than a little wide this time. And drops second as well as the position. Mike Burkov behind. Full onboard lap with the Stinky Cheese Man. We can make that happen, sir. And it should be a good one, in fact, as we hop on board with Jason Provolone. He is currently chasing the likes here of Casey Schutte and has a great view of that tin can back again. But it ain't easy being cheesy. No, it most certainly is not. Down Cascades onto Lakeside. Towards the island bend we go. You can see him. That slipstream can be detrimental through here. The understeer really can be amplified. Nice and tidy, though, through Island Bend into the Shell Oil corner. Does Constantina up quite a bit there. Provolone, though, nice and ready for it. This is going to be an outside look, or rather just keeping to the racing line. Casey Schutte going a little bit defensive now into the chicane. Nice and tidy through Britons. On to Hilltop now. You can see the wheel just seesawing under braking. Very tricky to negotiate those cars through Knickerbrook. Nicely done as well. Back on the throttle, heading up Clay Hill towards the water tower. Down to third gear and onto the throttle again. Fourth gear, climbing back up. Is he going to have a look now into the penultimate corner? He's going to have a look, but is it going to be a full send? No, thinks better of it. Definitely discretion, the better part of valor here for Jason Provolone, being patient and biding his time before he strikes like a viper onto Casey Schutte. Completes lap 5 there. Speaking of the Viper, what has happened to the Snake Racing? Snake Racing currently... Where is the Snake Racing even? I don't know where it went. Regardless, terrible segue if that car... I think it's the one car that may be left. Lovely action here that we don't quite have a good view of, and no, cameraman, you are fired. Mike Burkov drops a couple positions there. Unfortunately, was not able to see that due to the shoddy camera work.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
We are at the halfway point, says the director in game. He is correct. 10 minutes left. Or 9 minutes. 46 seconds as it stands. Professor Chronotis here, taking a nice shortcut. You know what they say, if you're going to get a track cut, you might as well make it worth it. And it also is going to get an incredible run as a result of cutting the chicane. He doesn't go for the overtake on Casey, as that would be absurd if he did. It would be a ridiculously illegal overtake. Is going to have to, like I said before, play that patience game. In the I drew it myself, a Bob Ross / Campbell's inspired livery. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth in the same sentence. And actually at the back here, we have some side-by-side racing. Lovely racing, in fact, from Darren Thomas and Daniel Solomon. Daniel, behind for now. Darren Thomas, I think, just made the overtake happen. Daniel going to tuck back to the inside, though, as we come up to the penultimate corner. You can see Darren giving a bit of a squeeze, but way too deep goes Daniel. Doing his best Sum 41 impression there, no doubt. And he is trying to keep up above in his head instead of going under. But not able to do so this time. Casey with the same challenges at hand, but side by side though. Potts Weaver, an avid defenseman. Can he keep it up with Provolone sneaking onto the outside? That's going to be a very unfavorable run if he picks up marbles onto the tires, which it looks like he doesn't. Gets a bit out of shape though on exit. Provolone with a valiant lunge, keeps it to the inside for now, but he should back out before Britton's. He does so. Keeping it very close, though, driving like a true BMW driver. As we go side by side into the back chicane, heading towards Knickerbrook. Casey Schutte gets ahead of Potts Weaver. Is he too deep, though? I think he has secured the position for now. Nice work there from Casey up into P5. Potts Weaver relinquished to 6th. But does Potts Weaver have an answer? About to find out. As we head through Druids, and actually it looks like there was contact. I think Jason Provolone makes contact with Potts Weaver. Potts rejoins the track in front of Mike Burkov. Safely enough, at least. Mike Burkov maybe needs a change of pants after that. We're going to go back and take a look at that one, everybody, as Mike Burkov is going to firmly get ahead there, no doubt. So we see terrible angle, but Potts Weaver definitely had contact there. And Mike Burkov, you can see him just having to have big lift of the throttle and going side by side into the penultimate corner. Terrible camera angles from that once again. Not doing it, Steven. You've just made an inside joke that nobody gets. Nice. Well, I get it, and it's pretty funny. It's quite funny, but I'm not going to say it. Dan Brace gets ahead up into P2. Jacob Cunningham, though, not done yet. Going to fight it back into Shell Oil we go with the 46 hot on the outside. Is he going to have a better run? I don't think he will. Maybe picking up a few marbles. In fact, Ollie Raza trying to make his way into the podium positions as well. Deep goes Darren Thomas, and deep goes Dan Brace, and Ollie Raza just waves his wizard wand, and just like that, 2 positions open up for him. We're going to watch this on board from Ollie Raza, as he has the best view in the house for it, where you can see both cars making a, oh my goodness, what a save as well from both Cunningham and Raza. Raza almost getting taken out there, but sticking with it, keeping his foot on the throttle. And a bit further behind, now we have Mike Burkov and Casey Schutte having a bit of a scrap themselves. Will be a bit of work, though, for Ollie Raza to work his way up to P1, I do gotta say. 2.6 seconds is the gap. Alex Afonso, 150 last lap. Ollie Raza's fastest lap, 148, is doable. It's definitely doable. It's tough, but it's doable. Side by side we go. Heading into the first corner, I think Mike Burkov should have this firmly done, but some bumping and banging and some big contact, and huge contact, in fact, actually result in both drivers into the barrier. Very uncharacteristic from both of these drivers. In fact, these are 2 extremely safe drivers. Let's see what happened here. Mike Burkov on the inside. Bit of a racing incident. That was tricky. As Casey began his turn and Mike began, they were just both fighting for the same part of the track there, and unfortunately 2 doesn't go into 1. I'm sure both of those drivers, of course both drivers are actually very good friends in Discord, so I'm sure they'll have a nice talk after the race, if not even right now. They probably are in Discord together if I had to guess. And we'll be talking that out and seeing what went went wrong there. I think that was just a misjudgment of each driver. Not really predicting correctly what the other driver would do, maybe. From first glance, that was what I looked at it as, but once again, that was just a classic 2 doesn't go into 1 moment, really. Nice lunge there from Chronotis. Keeps it on track and keeps it ahead of John Hawley. We get a replay of that, in fact. Let's see. As this was... You can see there. Lovely send from Chronotis. And John Hawley tries to stick with it on the switchback, but he loses the front end mid-corner, and that actually results in that position being quickly handed over to Chronotis. But as we speak, hang on, camera, come on back. John Hawley is now ahead of Chronotis. Now we need to do another replay, everybody. I know you guys love that, but we need to see what happened to get this. So, Chronotis, did he make a mistake? I presume so. You can see right there he did way too wide as he comes through Druids, and just like that, John Hawley back ahead. Will Brunner gonna have a go himself of an overtake. Potts Weaver, can he hold? He's done a great job of defending so far. Made a couple mistakes throughout. Nicely done, though, from Potts. Keeps his head on his shoulders there. Will Brunner runs deep, but he's going to stick with it. Does he run deep again? No, he gets it perfect into the break. Oh, no! Will Brunner. There was no contact. I did not need to say Potts' name there. Will Brunner a little too over-exuberant on the loud pedal, and as a result, into the barrier he goes. We're going to watch this again. As you can see, this lovely side-by-side action, and Potts Weaver reading it to perfection. He did lose it, but you can see there. Nicely done. And Jose Guzman, exclamation mark Patreon, thank you very much if you are going to be considering that. And thank you to, of course, to all of the patrons that already have their names up on the screen. We'll just pop them up real quick in front of the action. This is like your little commercial break. Big thank you to all of our patrons, and if you guys do want to participate in having your name on the screen as well as supporting what we do here, we couldn't thank you enough, first off, and thank you in advance as well, and thank you to all of our previous ones. John Hawley here on the charge, back at Will Brunner. Mr. Mowers Emporium dropping a Prime sub for 4 months. Thank you so much. Of course, Mr. Bucknam himself. Bucknam? Buckman. Bucknam. Yes, Bucknam. Thank you very much, sir. And I hope everyone's having a lovely evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you guys are in this fine world. We are getting close to the checkered flag, so these drivers may be seeing a bit of a red haze here towards the end. I think we're going to see this already incredible action turn into even more, so you can see this tight bout on track. And Mr. Mower Emporium, Bucknam nailed it. And see you at the Glen. Yes, indeed. Of course, for anyone curious what he is talking about, he's, of course, talking about our 6-hour race coming up on the 11th at Watkins Glen. Mixed class, GT3 and GT4, the closest thing that you will get to real-life endurance racing here in ACC, no doubt. So if you guys aren't a part of that, make sure you guys get a team. If you guys don't have a team, exclamation mark Discord. I'll type that in chat just for anyone. If I can type it correctly. Side by side into the final chicane we go as well. Plenty, it's just too much to talk about. If you guys do need a team, there is a team, find a team Discord channel in the Trackalicious Discord. We can find the link to right there. So plenty of drivers still needing a teammate for the upcoming endurance race, and all varying all skill levels as well. So if you're looking for people, that is where to find it. Three-way bout, though, on the last lap. Ollie Raza is going to come across the line. This is the final lap of the race. We're going to tune in with the podium sitters. Ollie Raza comes across the line for first. P2 is sealed there. Alex Afonso comes across for third, with Dan Brace behind in third. Alex Afonso in second. Dan Brace in third. Jacob Cunningham in fourth. Casey Schutte will be across the line in fifth, with Potts Weaver behind in sixth, and Jason Provolone closely behind in seventh. Will Brunner finishes eighth, and behind John Hawley with Professor Cronotis to round out our top 10. Casey Jackman in 11th, Darren Thomas in 12th, Jacob Church in P13, Daniel Solomon in 14th, and Mike Burkow bringing up the rear, unfortunately coming across the line there a lap behind. With a pit stop as well. And Raza, last to first challenge has arrived. You took the words right out of my mouth, Steven. Yes, indeed, Ollie Raza does go last to first all the way. That is such a impressive feat to do. If we can have Ollie Raza as well as Alex Afonso and Dan Brace move over to the green room in the Discord, that would be lovely. Well, in the meantime here, we are going to head back into the studio. And welcome back, everybody, to the Trackalicious studio, of course. And Jose, you didn't see your name on the list. If you just did it, it's not live. I will update it next week. I manually update it, unfortunately. But boy, would that be sick if I had a live API. Professor Cronotis, you listening? No, I don't need to give him any more work than he already has, that's for sure. But don't worry, Jose, I'll get you up there. And thank you very much for participating. Thank you so much. So Jose up in the Patreon supporters as a not honorable mention, but will be next week, of course. A notable mention, may I even say. We will get the replays up in the background here while we wait for our drivers to pile over into the green room. And it looks like we do have Ollie Raza there as it stands. Still waiting on Afonso as well as Dan. We'll see if we get Dan tonight. But starting us off, we have Ollie Raza. Whew, you can see the lap one contact there in the background, but which there was quite a bit of. Ollie Raza, let's talk about that race too. First off, P1 in both races, I guess. Let's start with that. But moving on to lap one, how did you survive from P2 to last?
Oh God, man, that the first right after turn one, I think it was like literally 5 or 6 wide. I don't even know how I survived that. I was just just praying to God, just let me go. It happened to work out. But yeah, the whole race, at least the first half, was like so hectic. And then it was just catching up, and then the last few moves were also pretty satisfying. Happy got the win.
Yeah, no, that was a masterclass of a drive from you, managing to negotiate up. I think on the first lap you had 7 or 8 positions gained,
Yeah.
which wasn't necessarily a testament to your skill, more a testament to the little bit of bumping and banging that we saw going on, and by a little bit, I mean quite a bit. So unfortunate, but nonetheless, extremely great drive there from Ollie Raza. I'm not seeing anyone else pop into the green room, unfortunately. So, Ollie, do you have anything notable that happened in either race? Feel free to talk about either race there, as you did, of course, win both.
I mean, there were definitely lots of places where I thought I was gonna die because you know, it was just literally millimeters, and somehow we both survived. Like, it's just the beauty of M2 racing, you know. You think you're gonna die, but sometimes you won't die. You can be really close to each other and have really good racing. So it was really fun.
Yeah, the M2 is definitely more of not a skill-based, they're more of just like a road car, I think you would say, right? Where they're just softer suspension than you would get in GT3, less aero, more mechanical grip required, as well as just trying to keep your head on your shoulders, and sometimes slow as fast with those cars. Is that a good description, Ollie?
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, no aero, mechanical grip. You know, the little things matter a lot. You know, if you turn in too aggressively, you're gonna understeer. You gotta be careful with how you transfer your weight, and that's how you kind of drive it fast.
For sure, that makes total sense. thank you very much, Ollie. And once again, congratulations on the both wins, Masterclass as well, P1 in the P1 in qualifying as well. So just all around an incredible drive tonight.
Thank you.
And we are going to be ending off the stream, of course. We will be rating. Sure, we can raid Chemo. Yeah, why not? I was going to raid Automatic Rabbit, which Automatic Rabbit's playing some American Truck Simulator, if you're interested. He's a great guy himself. Yeah. Yeah, we're actually I want to raid Automatic Rabbit. I'm gonna go against Eric on this one. I'm gonna raid Automatic Rabbit. We're gonna raid tonight. So make sure you guys go check out Automatic Rabbit. He is an awesome guy, and he's driving some American Truck Simulator. He got it not too long ago. Last time we were watching it, this man is definitely taking the speed line. He's currently behind a police officer, so he might be changing his mind on that. Big thank you to everyone tonight. Big thank you to all these subscriptions. Jacob Church, thank you so much for your gifted subs, as well as everyone dropping a follow and participating on Patreon. Big thanks to our Patreon supporters once again. Of course, names all on screen, including Jose Guzman, which is not on there just yet, but will be, of course, soon enough. Thank you guys so much. Of course, I am Mike Nause. I hope you guys have a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. I haven't started the raid, did I? I typed it in the wrong chat. There we go. Did I do the right? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Okay, good. Lovely. Okay, regardless, I hope you guys have a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you guys are in this fine world. Go check out Automatic Rabbit. Drop him a follow. He's an awesome guy. Shout out to Jose Guzman as well. Thank you guys, and good night.